This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, and thank you for joining our Monday night PowerUp meeting. It is September 24th, and we'll go ahead and get right into it. Monica, would you like to call our meeting to order?
Certainly. We call this meeting to order. The purpose of GOGI is to provide simple tools to anyone interested in making more positive decisions in their lives. The goal of the PowerUp is to create a purpose and meaning of service for that week. That is where the GOGI gets their power. We power up by living a life of service.
Awesome. Thank you. And Joanne, would you like to read our GOGI tools, please?
Sure. GOGI tools for positive decision making are, is that the correct one?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, pause of my brain, steady breathing, 5-second light switch, positive thoughts, positive words, positive actions, and responsibility, let go, forgive, what if, reality check, and ultimate freedom.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so quick recap of last week's tool, which was, what was last week's tool?
Reality check.
Reality check. And what's our favorite part of reality check? What was our key words? Ten steps forward.
The phrase. So what was our phrase? 10 steps forward, 8 steps, 2 steps back. It still puts us 8 steps ahead.
Yep. Exactly. So what was the main focus of that reality check? What's the difference between what society considers a reality check and what GOGI tool reality check is about?
I think a reality check in what normal, but what society thinks is a reality check is just something that is presented to you all of a sudden that you didn't realize before. It's kind of like, but it's usually something harsh and
right.
Not positive. It's usually something dramatically wrong. A reality check in GOGI is that you realize, even if you're trying to better yourself, you're going forward in life, you're making decisions, and even if you make a wrong decision, you have to look at it like, how far have you come from where you started? So you've actually come, if you went 10 steps and you kind of like slid back a little bit, you have to realize you still are further ahead than you were before, and it's a positive.
Exactly. So the statement of ownership for reality check is, I know I am going to make mistakes along the way, but reality check lets me quickly correct my mistakes. Today I agreed to get right back on track with reality check when I do something that is not perfect. So what does it say? What was the main thing? Like it said right here, that we need to just remind ourselves that we are what?
Humans.
Exactly. Human.
I don't like that.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make bad decisions, and GOGI realizes we're going to make bad decisions, right?
Uh-huh.
But we don't have to. It doesn't have to ruin everything we did before that. Okay. And here's a new little bit here. I actually pulled this out of the pink book, and part of it got cut off. The coach is going to rewrite this, but we're starting to put in the science behind the tool, and that part did get cut off.
Yeah, I really
and
like
so she's going to rewrite it. She's going to rewrite it all. And actually, I guess the blue book, the prison blue book, has even more of the science in it. So she's going to send that to me.
Okay, good.
Awesome. All right. So that was a quick recap of reality check. And now, according to the national calendar, GOGI national calendar, the students of GOGI are studying the tool of dun, dun, dun,
Ultimate freedom.
freedom, which is our last tool, tool 12 of 12. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to try something a little bit different. I talked to peer coach Matthew Edwards, and he told me that they would do like one page at a time, and then whoever read would give a little bit of something they liked about what it is that they read in that page. So who would like to read the first page for us?
Read, but I'm sick, so just bear with me. Um, start at the statement of ownership.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Can you
Ultimate
see it,
freedom.
Joanne?
I could see it.
Okay.
Statement of ownership. I create ultimate freedom for myself when I give the GOGI way. In my service, I have ultimate freedom. Repeat this week's statement of ownership as often as possible. Before you get out of bed, before your meals, during a break, and before sleeping. Write the statement for added emphasis. Your weekly statement of ownership reinforces this week's tool. Week to study ultimate freedom are 4th week of March, 4th week of June, 4th week of September, 4th week of December. Keywords for ultimate freedom. Being free is up to me. Living a life of service gives me ultimate freedom. Objective, ultimate freedom. Can you scroll down or up?
Yes. Okay. Oh, there's a delay. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Wow, there's a big delay. There we go.
Objective, ultimate freedom. Your goal this week is to practice creating freedom in your life by doing good things, even when no one is looking. Ultimate freedom is this week's tool, and you can be the boss of your level of freedom when you practice ultimate freedom each day. Full intro, ultimate freedom. Ultimate freedom is a feeling inside you that no one and no situation can take away. Ultimate freedom is also something you are in charge of creating for yourself. And ultimate freedom is available for everyone, not just a few people who have something you do not. Ultimate freedom is a freedom that comes when you decide to live your life in service of others. You choose to live your life something more than your own desire and needs. You begin to feel the little sparks of ultimate freedom. How to use ultimate freedom. You can use the tool ultimate freedom at any time. All you need to do is focus your attention on being of service and helping to make a situation better. You use ultimate freedom by moving into a positive action that helps someone else. When you practice this way of living long enough, you may find yourself beginning to live in the ultimate freedom every day. Your life will be truly forever ultimately happy.
Okay. Thank you. Now, what are your thoughts on this page, Joanne?
I like this tool. This is my second time going around with the first time. Well, I think it was a rush thing for me because I was settling in on how to wrap myself around the tools. And I like the keywords of ultimate freedom. The being free is up to me. And living a life of service gives me ultimate freedom. These past couple of weeks, I've been wrapped up in allowing this individual work to kind of seed in my head of who I'm not, and making me doubt myself of the service that I give to others, and I'm being free when I'm doing it because I know that what I do and what I'm doing is why I went into the field I went into. And I was giving her too much credibility, letting her get into my head, and I was watering that seed that it grew, that it started affecting me health wise. And being free is up to me, nobody else. Not my husband, not my parents, not the neighbor, not Nobody but me and my higher power. Even my higher power wouldn't be able to help me if I'm not open-minded to. It's up to me. The tools could be in front of me, and if I don't grab them and use them, nothing's gonna work.
Yeah.
So I like that. Being free is up to me, and living a life of service gives me ultimate freedom because I love giving back. And I don't hesitate to tell anybody that I like my patients laugh at me because I say I'm a tweaker at heart because I'm gonna be a tweaker for life. That's it, because my mentality
Right.
is always there. It's not because I'm a use, it's because I was stuck to the environment, and I'm always gonna looking for see how easy can I do it, or how can I get away with this, or how can I make this extra money, and it's like, nope, I can't think like that.
Yeah.
But, that's what I like, the keywords.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else want to comment on this page? I agree with Joanne. The funny thing is I know we went through this. I know we've gone through this before, but I am not remembering some of this. When I went and I looked it over this afternoon, I remember thinking, why don't I remember going through this before? And I know I did, but I think because it was like the first time, or maybe it was, I can't remember if this first or second time, but I think it takes a few times for it to sink in. And I, like Joanne said, that being free is up to me. I love that part too. And I think that's probably a big one for a lot of people, is that it does not matter. It's like a culmination of everything. It doesn't matter what anybody says or does or whatever. If, as long as we are being of service to somebody, then we can choose to have that ultimate. We can choose to have that ultimate freedom. And I think there's like two aspects to it. There's the ultimate freedom of knowing that your choices are yours, right? But then also too, the part I really like is the being of service, and how that's going to make you happy. And that's logical to me, because I know I always feel better if I'm helping somebody else. And part of it is that you're helping, and then another part is that you're realizing, hey, people have worse problems than we do. So having that knowing that other people have problems is a big deal. But I love this. I love this tool also. And I like the control we have of the ultimate freedom. Okay. Anybody else?
Anything to add a little bit on that? I think every time we're going to go through the tool, we're going to realize something else added to it, or we're going to, I guess it depends on the situation or the environment we're in at the moment, that, like you said, you don't remember some of the stuff. But I think it's because it depends on the way we're feeling and what environment we're in at the time, that,
Yeah.
oh, that works for me right now,
Yeah. You know what? And I think you're right. It's just that
That's what
every
I was
time we're probably going to be in a different phase of growth, right? Yep.
That's what I
Go
was
ahead, Monica.
No, that's what I was thinking, that, you might not have remembered everything because you don't know where you were, at that time that we studied this tool. But also,
Right.
Scott said on the inside, you know what? It did. Once they went through it, and he learned more. The more times that they did it, the more things he would see in it, and take away from it.
Right.
So just, like repeating it. When you're repeating the statement, it's kind of like that repetition, somehow it just sticks in your brain differently. And I think maybe
And
getting,
go ahead.
getting ideas from other people on their take of what it means at different times, allows you to pick up different stuff.
And I think the last go around, for whatever reason, I know that let go and what if were big ones for me. And that was probably because at that time I was still going through everything with Corey.
Mm-hmm.
I was still, so in that time, those were the big ones for me. Now, I'm past that. So yeah, I think just as we grow, different tools are probably going to, be more significant to us at different times. So I don't think we could probably ever get bored. I think it's great.
Well,
Awesome. Okay, let's go on, who would like to read this next page? And then comment.
I will.
Thank you.
Review, ultimate freedom. Ultimate freedom is a tool, but it is also a way of gaining the only form of freedom that can never be taken away. This is because ultimate freedom is created from within you, and it is yours to keep for as long as you like. Ultimate freedom is a result of your ability to use the GOGI tools to help others so that you can feel the power that comes from being of service. Ultimate freedom is achieved in little moments of service, but if you do enough of these little moments each day, you will find your life keeps getting better and better. You will want to be more of service because your life begins to be so powerfully positive. As the GOGI toolbox became a complete set of tools, the question that eventually emerged was, why? Why make positive decisions? Why overcome addictions? Why grow past gang mentality? In nearly every GOGI student's journey, there becomes something that tugs strongly at the heart and occupies the thoughts. Invariably, as GOGI students begin to gain insight into their abilities to create a better life and build competencies in the use of the GOGI tools, there emerges an urgency to help others. For most GOGI students, it becomes quite apparent that the past journey is past of their purpose and a driving force for service to others. Ultimate freedom became the capstone of the GOGI tools as each and every GOGI student came to realize the enormous value they could bring to the lives of others. In applying the GOGI tools and seeing their lives change for the better, suddenly their journey mattered. The strength and resilience in surviving the journey mattered. Their use of the GOGI tools to create a better life mattered. Ultimate freedom makes a statement that what I am to be is up to me. This statement permits the GOGI student to take every second of the past and let it be the motivation and the message to be shared with others. When we choose to live our life in service of something greater than our own needs, it is then that we secure our inner freedom. The beauty of this tool is found in the tiniest moments. Ultimate freedom is found in the smile you offer to someone who does not look like you. Ultimate freedom is found in the piece of trash you pick up and put in the trash bin when no one is looking. Ultimate freedom is found in the kind word you say about someone who is being criticized by others. Ultimate freedom is not about the big things that usually define, quote, service. Rather, GOGI's ultimate freedom is about those small things that make most people don't even notice. The small things, the unseen things, the kind things that are done just because. Ultimate freedom is a tool of service, a tool which guarantees internal freedom regardless of situations or circumstances. Living each and every day to be of service to others is living the GOGI way. How much ultimate freedom has there been in your life today?
I love Coach.
Yeah.
I love reading this stuff. This is, again, I grabbed this from the blog from today, and it just warms my heart just to read these words. So go ahead, Monica. What do you like about this page?
I like how, because honestly, I don't even remember this tool from before, because I don't think that even now, I don't really feel like I am at the stage of having ultimate freedom, other than I always help people. I do these little things, and to me, if ultimate freedom is doing these things, then I've always had that part of me because I do that stuff. But just I think it just shows that little things matter, and just like worries, we worry about little things and those really don't matter, and it's the big things that kind of get pushed to the side. I don't know. I don't know that I'm ever going to have ultimate freedom, honestly, for me. Other than
Well, what does it mean to you?
I don't think,
what do you
for me, I don't think that inside I'm always going to feel, maybe it's not this tool that bothers me. It's the fact that I don't know that right now, I don't feel like I am safe because I'm getting hurt by things, by helping the people that I'm helping. And I feel like I'm struggling and I'm not helping myself. So, I mean, I'm free to make my own choices. I always do. I always have. Right, wrong, or indifferent. But I don't know that I'm always going to feel. I think this, with ultimate freedom, it means that you're going to feel good about yourself. I don't feel good about myself.
Do you think that if with more practice of the forgive, let go, and forgive tools, and maybe what if, that you'll be able to then get to the point of this tool? Because you say you don't feel safe yet, so forgive is that tool.
Well, I'm just noticing that I keep getting hurt over the same thing. So, but I feel wonderful when I help other people. I do. And it doesn't always, I do it because I want to, and it doesn't always harm me, especially if I do little things. The little things don't harm me, and I feel good, and I like doing that. I love helping people, but the bigger things, when they start, it just starts dragging on me because I neglect myself. So
Wait till it's done, okay, because she's commenting about something personal. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm sorry,
all right.
Ernesto called in, so I'm gonna put him on the phone. But
Monica.
But
go ahead.
Monica, I think you should start with baby steps. I think you're looking at ultimate freedom and you're taking it like your whole life. You want to be free, but maybe you just mentioned something that you like doing. Small things make you feel good, and that's you being of service to somebody else. But when you do the bigger things that do bother you or bring you down, I think that's a moment or a challenge for you to build boundaries, and that's going to be your ultimate freedom at that moment. Setting a boundary situation or that person or that decision that you're going to make. And I think it's not going to be ultimate freedom because we're not going to completely be free all the time because our life changes so drastically. You work, you're a wife, you're a prison wife, and something that happens in there or something that goes wrong in there, we're affected because we want to fix the problem for them. We can't. And then we have our own issues out here going on. I think if you're of service when you do all those little things that you say, which I'm sure it's not little. Getting to know you now, I'm sure whatever you do, it's not little because you go out of your way for a lot of people. But I think your ultimate freedom will be when you start setting boundaries, not for everything that you do, but just that one little thing that might be dragging you for that day or for that week or for that month. And I think just a suggestion, you should try just without, that one situation. Because sometimes it's not the situation, that continues to, not to let us feel free.
I will try that. Thank you.
Alfred, if you can't, if you're frozen or whatever, I'm pausing you. I'm sorry, I'm muting you because sometimes there's background noise, okay? So that's why.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Does anybody else want to, I'm sorry, Monica, do you want to keep going?
No, I thought you had you had someone on the phone that you had to.
Yeah, Ernesto he called in. He's got 15 minutes. So Ernesto,
Okay, fine. Let's talk to him. Go.
did you want to give a comment, Ernesto, on ultimate freedom?
Sure. I love this tool, and there's so much depth to this tool, so much, it's really profound because there's a couple dynamics to it that, of how I've used it in my own life, but, just a simple, statement of ownership and the key words is just, being of service is up to me, living life of service, ultimate freedom, but, in my life, before I found GOGI, like, I remember being very selfish and very self-absorbed. I didn't think about anyone else but myself. Just instant gratification, always getting what I wanted, taking what I wanted.
So,
Is everybody there? I didn't hear anybody.
I didn't hear nothing no more.
Oh,
I'm here, Monica.
I'm used to
there it is.
the reward of what drugs do to my brain, because when I used to use drugs, there's a certain neurotransmitters that are released, like dopamine, and that's a feel-good drug inside our brain. It's a reward whenever we have, when we eat food or when we have sex.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
When we eat food or we have sexual intercourse or we do something good that feels good, that neurotransmitters release. So we get used to our brain changes, and we get used to always feeling good. And when there's a discomfort, it just sets us back. It will set me back, and into an old, destructive, negative thinking pattern. So when ultimate freedom, and I go out there and I do something kind or something good for another person, that same neurotransmitter, dopamine, is released in my brain, which makes me feel good. And so, in essence, because my brain has been used to, always wanting to feel good, I'm getting, so to speak, getting my fix of dopamine, naturally, in a good way, in a healthy way, in a positive way. That's why Coach Sanders said that being of service is like the best antidepressant that you can take because it's free. It's all inside your brain. And I think I've taken this tool in my own life to the next level as far as starting GOGI groups inside of prison, giving a lot of the students or GOGI brothers homework tasks, like doing 3 positive actions to a person without expecting nothing in return. That's doing ultimate freedom. And wanting to be a youth counselor and giving back to the community and being a positive role model inside of prison. All those things release that dopamine because it puts things into perspective as far as doing for others instead of being selfish and self-absorbed. So this tool, I could go on and on about this tool, but this tool is it's very simple, but it's very profound. There's science behind it, and at the same time, it helps you reconnect to your family, to friends, to the community, to society. It just helps you reconnect and understand that all human beings are connected in some way, and to be able to do something for someone without expecting nothing in return is the core essence of what ultimate freedom is. So I love this tool very much. Yes.
Thank you.
That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Ernesto. You know, my take on it too, as you were talking, is that, you know, it's very common when you're in prison to be selfish. You know, I mean, you're a victim of society. You know, that a lot of times that's what people think. So it's me. It's all about me, taking care of me, looking out for me, what's in it for me. And that's kind of the atmosphere. So I could see how this tool and getting somebody to actually reconnect with somebody else and do for somebody else, that's almost unheard of in prison. So I can see this tool making a huge statement. And honestly, I feel like this tool is probably one of the main tools that helps the GOGI guys, because whenever we see these videos, it's usually somebody talking to somebody else and giving and helping them. And that brings them closer, because then they open up to each other and everything else. So I too get like a natural high off it. You know, I just being able to help somebody else, it's true. It is an antidepressant. So that's my take on this page too. Plus, I love that bird, man. This picture is awesome. I love this little bird. This is the first time I've seen this picture. I put in here, I'll send this to you, Ernesto. Coach does a blog every week for the tool of the week, and so she did this blog, and she just kind of whatever comes to her mind, she has somebody write down, and they're awesome. And so this one has a picture of a bird flying out of a cage, and it says GOGI on the bird, and it represents ultimate freedom. So I'll send you a copy of this, because this is her thoughts this week on this tool. Okay. Awesome. So anybody, go ahead. Did you have something else?
Yeah, I was going to say something you said just kind of like reminded me of something, and I just kind of wanted to share it real quick before this phone call is over, which will be in a couple minutes. When I was in solitary confinement, basically, basically the worst situation I was in my entire life, right? I had this friend, Eddie, who had been incarcerated for 18 years, and he was getting ready to go home in a year. And he had no clue what he wanted to do upon his release. He didn't have any family that would help him get, you know, his parole clothes, or just he didn't have a clue what to do. He didn't know where to begin or anything. So I remember I asked him one day. I said, "Hey Eddie, do you have your GED?" And he said, "No, I don't have my GED." I said, "In the 18 years you've been incarcerated, you've never taken the time to get your GED?" He said, "No." I said, "Well,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I said, if you're going to get out into society, I'm pretty sure that you getting your GED should be something that you do now before you get out. It should be the first step." And I remember we went back and forth for a little bit, and next you know, Eddie, GED. So I became a tutor back then. We would have time to study through the doors, because the doors were honeycomb, meaning that there's really not a door. It's just like metal, but there's a bunch of little holes all over the door, so you can hear people pretty easily. So we would study every day, and getting ready for him to take his CASA test, his PACE test, his pre-GED, and finally his GED to pass. We did that in about, I guess, around 9 months. And then his release was getting, it was nearing, so he didn't have no parole clothes or shoes or anything. So I got a friend of mine to send him his parole clothes. I remember asking him all his sizes, his pants, his shirts, and I mean just everything. And I was able to send him some parole clothes. And then he didn't have any shoes. So I remember when you're in solitary confinement, you can only get a package once a year, and that's the only time you can get a pair of shoes. But I remember that I hadn't gotten my package in, so I said, you know what, I'm gonna give them the shoes I'm wearing because they were still in pretty good condition, and I'll just get some shoes later. So that's what I ended up doing. I gave them my shoes, I got some blow clothes, I talked them into getting GD, and then I also said, you know what, well, let's try to find his family. And so I got a friend to track down his mom. I don't know how the internet really works, but I guess he was able to find her. And yeah, his mom started writing to him before he was released, and basically telling him that he had a place to live and somewhere to come home to. And so it was just like I was on cloud nine, being able to be in that situation and help somebody out like that. It was ultimate freedom at its finest, I believe. And that's just a story I always remember because
Goodbye.
it's pretty.
Oh. Okay, like looks like they cut him off.
Looks like
Okay.
All right, thank you, Eugenia. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm gonna send you what is it, the note.
Yes. Okay.
For
Okay.
you here.
All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. You too. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
that was awesome. That was,
That
Yeah.
was awesome.
he felt
Wow.
really great that he was able to do that, and that is what, that's being a friend.
From the whole. From the
Yeah.
whole even. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what a helpless feeling it is to be in there and then, yeah. No, I'm happy for him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so any more thoughts on this page, on the prior page, before we go on? Okay. So, Savina, would you like to read the next page?
Of course.
Thank you, ma'am.
So from Coach Taylor, is that where it's, ultimate freedom is a tool of service. From Coach Taylor, ultimate freedom. When we explore the tool ultimate freedom, we need to ask ourselves a few questions. What am I living for? Am I living my life for things I want to obtain? Am I living for the opportunity to make up for lost time? Or am I living each day in service of those whose path I cross as my life unfolds? There are different forms of freedom, but the GOGI tool Ultimate Freedom permits us to experience the only form of freedom which can never be taken away from us. The only form of freedom that can never be taken away from us is the internal freedom we earn when we live our lives in service of others. When we live for things, we are sadly disappointed as things are temporary and bring us temporary freedom. When we live our lives trying to make up for the past, we are disappointed as the dynamics of today prohibit the past from being relived. The path to lasting freedom is the path of service. Waking up each morning and knowing the world is a better place because your 2 feet hit the pavement that day. Keep in mind, your feet won't hit the pavement. One day your body will not operate and you will no longer be on this earth. Ask yourself, if you died tomorrow, will the world have been a better place for your presence? Did those you love know of your love, or did you keep those words to yourself? Did the neighbor next door have kind things to say about living next to you? Did the people who worked with you miss you when you were no longer there? If you have many excuses for not loving, or your list of complaints about your neighbor prohibit kindness, then you are missing out on a form of freedom you can easily call your own. Ultimate freedom gives us away from a selfish and self-centered guides us away. I'm sorry. Ultimate freedom guides us away from a selfish and self-centered existence and toward living each day with a keen eye to the small ways we can make things better. These small things we do create cracks in our personal prison walls and eventually free us from despair, disappointment, helplessness, and anger. We are freed from those emotions when we see our value. We see our value more clearly, and we find another crack in our personal prison wall. Then we help a little more. And another crack appears. Before long, there is no more wall. Through daily acts of service, the personal prison wall comes down, and we are free to experience a rare form of freedom that few experience. What if every doctor who saw a patient would first prescribe service before Xanax? At GOGI, we believe that living a life of service might very well be the only lasting remedy for much of what ails our communities. Depression can be replaced with a sense of value and purpose through service. Addiction to mind-numbing drugs can be replaced. Can be replaced with an addiction to service. Loneliness can be immediately eradicated by reaching out to someone in need. At GOGI, we say, to truly be free, it all starts with me. Those who live their lives in service know this to be true. Ultimate freedom is yours to embrace. Anytime, anywhere, and only you can permit the cracks in your personal prison. The more cracks in the wall, the more quickly internal freedom is found. I can't see any more. I'm lost.
I think
Oh,
you're at if all.
all this sounds nice, but does not seem practical in your unique situation. Here's a suggestion. Offer a smile to someone you would normally ignore. Say good morning to someone new and possibly different looking from your familiar group of friends. Pick up a piece of trash and put it in the trash can. Move something out of the way that might construct the flow for others. Ask someone, can I give you a hand? There are a million and one ways to create cracks in your personal prison wall. Do these small things and you will be living your day in ultimate freedom. When you go to sleep at night, having been of service to others, then you and they will be happy when you're free at the pavement this morning. Love, Coach.
All right, thank you, Savina. What would you like to comment on from what you just read?
Wow, I think that was there was a lot in there that was important. I have to say that what she's saying is really hardcore truth. I used to live a life that was, I didn't feel it was selfish, but it was. I felt a lot of times in my marriage that I was a victim and, oh, woe is me. And although I never portrayed that to other people, inside I felt like that. Inside I felt like, wow, I give a lot and I get nothing. And, my life is hard and, oh, woe is me. But once I stopped thinking like that, and I realized that, you know, life is really good, and I'm not a victim, and I did it this kind of way, you know. I started smiling at people, and I love my neighbors and their kids. You know, the kids come to me and they say, "Oh, I just want to come over there and give you a hug," and you know, it makes me so happy that these people that and I move a lot, and it seems that everybody that I live around, I just love them. And I don't know. I did some volunteer work this last weekend and I left feeling so good. And it only took me like an hour to do, and I was regretting and I didn't really want to go. And I know I'm talking all over the place, but I'm just saying everything that she said in here is true. It's a drug helping people. And changing your attitude is a beautiful thing. And I'm sorry that I spent so long just feeling like, you know, my life was, oh woe is me, you know, look at me, I'm somebody that nobody cares, you know, whatever, you know, it was just silly. And so changing your mind really helps you have freedom.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody else want to comment on this?
I'll have a comment. My husband keeps amazing me with since he's the one that introduced me to the GOGI tool, and I'm helping him with the project right now that they're doing in his yard about it relates to what Ernesto was saying about being a counselor to the youth, and he's like so motivated, and they've gotten in contact with a couple of churches out here in the real world, and they're giving back from in there. They're already writing letters to these youths. They're obviously to the pastors, not directly through them. Everything's getting screened, and they're getting waivers as we speak right now for youths to be going in there once a month to for them to be speaking to them. But they don't want to do like scaring them straight. They actually want to mentor these kids. And when I see the excitement and the ultimate freedom that he's not even out yet, and he's in there with not just by himself. There's a couple of gentlemen doing this project, and how he's just giving back and how good he feels about what he's doing in there is like gives me the passion to continue pushing myself. So I mean, I know it's part of the of GOGI because he started GOGI and solitary confinement as well, and working the tools. So I think he's found ultimate freedom, and I could see it, even though that he doesn't say it's ultimate freedom yet, or he didn't recognize it. But I see his ultimate freedom, even though he's incarcerated.
That's awesome. And I know it must feel so good for these guys. You know, the guys that everybody forgot about, or these guys feel like they're not worthy, nobody cares. So when they're able to actually affect somebody else in a good way, when they're able to actually, especially the kids, maybe help these kids, you know, not turn out like them, I can just imagine how good that must make them feel, you know, because they're the forgotten. And it breaks my heart sometimes, but like your husband, when they get to that point and they actually, oh my God, I actually helped somebody, because of me, somebody might be going down a different path. And that's just, you know, it makes me so happy just to think of that situation.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? All right. Any other comments before I have Alfred read this next page? This part right here. Oh, actually, Alfred, can you please? Alfred, I'll tell you what. Can you read thoughts from Coach Carlson? And then, you know, why don't you read thoughts from Coach Carlson and then grab one of these activities. Pick an activity for us to do. How about that?
Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Okay. Thoughts from Coach Carlson, Lee Carlson. When something is difficult or challenging, I think to myself, being free is up to me. This gets me when something is difficult or challenging, I say to myself, being free is up to me. This gets me out of my own way and into being of service. GOGI has put a light on my ability to get out of my own prison and has given me the willingness to stop limiting myself as a result of understanding that is up to me. I was able to use the GOGI tools to rebuild my life and live my life in ultimate freedom. In service to others, there is no greater joy and no greater way to heal. GOGI for Life, Coach Carlson. And then activity. It says you will probably find this activity very rewarding. Ask the group members what they would do in each situation after they state what they would do. Ask them how it would make them feel to do that action. One, it says, man putting gas in his car. He turns and trips over the gas hose. What do you do? How does it feel to do this? So what?
So why don't you tell us what you answer it, Alfred, and then pick somebody else.
Okay.
And then they can pick one of these other ones or the same one.
Okay. Well, what I would do is, of course, I would go and I would help him. Make sure he was okay, dust him off. And finish pumping his gas, and and that's it. And for me, before I wouldn't like that. I would just like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I would probably. But you know what? Today, I mean, even those little acts of kindness, I have a little spiritual bank account, right? And every time I do something like that, I make a little deposit for when I'm not feeling too good about myself, And so ultimate freedom, that's what it allows me to do, to be giving of myself, because I've been for so very long. Ultimate freedom is a tool of service, and the tool set doesn't have to be, it could be a smile, it could be it could be.
Cutting out, Alfred. Can you move the phone just a little bit?
It could be. Am I cutting out?
Yeah, you're better.
Okay. So it could be anything, and like it says, it doesn't have to be something very big. It could be small at the beginning, because a lot of times, when we're new to this, we don't want to do the big things. We want to do the little things, and that's okay, because it's going to get you out of yourself. You're going to be able to accomplish a bigger task later on. So, who else wants to answer the question?
Wait, before you do that, I love that. You make a little deposit. Oh, I love that. Que chulo. I like that. I'm sorry, I'm done. Go ahead.
All right, Mother.
So no, Alfred, you need to pick somebody, and then they'll pick which one of these activities they want.
Okay, Joanne.
Let me see. Number 2. A girl is turning to walk down an alley. You know it's dangerous, and she does not look like she knows where she is going. What do you do? How does it feel to do this? I don't have a problem doing this. I'm very nosy, and especially because I was in my mom was in a toxic relationship, and I was in a toxic relationship. The last relationship I was in, my addiction, I was in a domestic violence relationship. The last time that he put hands on me, I walked in Watts. If anybody knows LA, I was in Watts on 95th and Central. And he hit me, and I was able to leave his house. He broke my glasses. I was wearing a tank top and shorts. And he ripped my shirt. So I'm walking, and then these dudes were drinking. They're like, hey, what's up? And woo, this and that. And I'm like, hey, does anybody have a cell phone? And as soon as the light hit my face, nah, we don't want no problems. This and that. And I'm like, wow. And I made a promise to myself that I don't care if it was a man or a girl, and then they were in need or they were in trouble, I was going to stop. regardless of it put me in a risky situation or not. So I ask women I see crying or guys or they're fighting because it's usually nowadays it's a lot of the females that aggravate their men that hit them. And I'm like, are you guys okay? It's like, it's not worth it, cool down. And I try to diffuse the situation. And it makes me feel good because I remember the position they put me in that there was one couple that helped me. I went around the corner and um, they looked at me. I said, look, I know I look like a drug addict and this and that. I said, my boyfriend just beat me, blah, blah, blah. I need to call home. He said, I know we don't have a cell phone. And I guess the guy, it was a male, he felt bad and they followed me to the liquor store and they're like, you know what? Do. They're like, get in the van. I took that risk and I jumped in the van with them. It was an Afro-American couple. I jumped in the van. He bought me a t-shirt. He bought me water and some alcohol pads, and he lent me his phone and he waited till my mom got there.
Oh.
So I'm like, you know what? I don't care, So if it's a girl walking on the alley, I call the cop. My patients laugh at me because I said, look, I'm a snitch. I said, and I haven't got stitches yet. So when I do, then maybe I'll think about it. But,
Right.
but I'm gonna help. I'm gonna ask, are you lost? Do you need help? Are you okay? And even it doesn't have to be a girl. It could be a man as well, because some of these ladies nowadays are very violent.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it gives me a good sense of giving back, not because I'm the hero, I'm the savior, just because I was in that position and I remember how I felt when they would look at me and they're like, nah, we don't want to get involved. And somebody out there is gonna need something someday. And I'm a firm believer that everything you do here, my higher power, my God, is always watching, and it's like, you're doing your service to somebody else, so good things come back.
So you're making a deposit too
Hmm.
into your spirit. What did you call it? Your spiritual bank, just like Alfred, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, my
Oh.
spiritual back, because I know eventually I'm gonna get those rewards back somewhere, somehow. Not immediately or not right now or down the road, but not just to me, to my loved ones as well.
Right.
Exactly. Okay, so pick somebody, Joanne.
Monica,
Who?
are you there? Monica?
Oh,
Oh, Monica.
I'm here. Your phone was cutting out. That's all. We didn't hear you. Okay. 4, you find a purse on the side of the road. The wallet is there with business cards and a phone number. What do you do? How do you feel? Well, I'm a goody two shoes. I would call I would look to see if I could tell whose whose wallet it was, to try to call that number. But I would call and, like, I found a phone in the bathroom in Castaic on my way home one day, and I was like, oh my God. And two girls had just left the bathroom, so I figured it was probably there. So I picked it up and I went and I looked outside. I didn't see them. So I wound up, I called the last number that was on the phone, and I tried to
That's smart.
find out I said, whose phone number is this? I said, and I explained that I found it and I was looking for them. And then I guess they were looking, so they finally came back in, and because I had given it to the person at the store because I wanted to go home, but I wanted to make sure it was going to be safe, to let them know that I saw a couple girls leave the bathroom and it could have been theirs. So I let them have the phone number, and then they came in just as I was leaving, and I told them, and so they got that. But I actually, so I always do the right thing by trying to find whose, article that is. And I was blessed when I left my purse in my shopping basket and got in the car and came home. And in that purse, because my dad was going to do some stuff for my house, I bought a $500 of Home Depot card. I had $300 of cash in there,
Oh
and
my God.
and stuff. And this lady, and I just, because I put other stuff in my car, I just totally forgot to take it out of my basket for whatever, my mind was somewhere else. And then I'm home and I'm like, where's my phone? You know, I'm like, I gotta look for the thing, and I'm looking at my phone. I go, okay, well, where's my purse? And I'm looking for my little purse because I take a little one sometimes, and I went, and then my stomach got upset. I'm like, oh my god, did I leave it at the thing? And so I'm only 2 minutes from the store, so I hurried to the store and I went in there and I asked, and someone turned it in. A lady turned it in. She was a business owner, and she found it, and she was kind enough to turn it in with all my stuff in there.
Wow. It was still in there? The store
Yeah.
didn't take it?
No.
Wow.
No, the manager
That's awesome.
put it in. She gave it to the manager. She knew him because, you know,
Okay.
but you know, I've been going to the store for 50 years because I've lived in my house 51 years, you know, so, you know, they put it in the thing, but it was just like, oh my God. I was like, thank you, God. And I know that was my karma from all the times that, you know, I would find something and I would always, you know, I'd try to find who it was. That's just
Man, that's worse than me, Monica. I thought me leaving my groceries in the cart at Walmart was bad. Okay, man, you make me feel good right now. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was horrifying.
A big one. And nobody took it. Nobody took that. That's
They found it and she turned it in. So that's a testament to good people.
Yep. Yes, it is. Definitely. Definitely.
So I would do the same for people. I just think that's the right thing to do.
All right, pick a person.
I'm picking Savina.
Savina?
I can't hear you guys very well. I think you picked me though.
I did
Yes.
pick you.
Did
You are
pick
the
you.
chosen one at the moment.
I'm not hearing very well, so maybe we should move on to Tamara and I can figure out what's wrong with my phone here.
We can hear you. Can she? Maybe Tamara needs to scream because I know how quiet and soft spoken I am.
Do you want to move on to me and then come back, Savina, or do you want to go?
I'll go. I can talk.
Okay.
I can't hear anybody else, but I'll talk. I mean, I can barely hear you. Obviously, I can hear you. So I wanted to talk about number 3. A little kid lost in the store crying. Something like this kind of happened to me, but it wasn't the kid in the store. I was leaving CVS Pharmacy one night in Lancaster, and I heard this wailing like cats were fighting or something, and it was really an awful sound. And I heard it for 3 or 4 minutes straight, and I was looking around trying to figure out. And about four car rows down was a kid that his mom left in the car by himself. He was old enough to be upset. Might have been like 6 or 7 years old. He was just upset that he was by himself. I don't know if he had been asleep and just woke up and he was alone, or what was upsetting him. But I guess any of us would be upset if we were alone like that. But so I wasn't sure exactly what to do. But the security guard at the CVS was outside, and he heard it too. So I went over and talked to him, and he went over to the car because it was just a better situation for him to go over there and didn't look as suspicious as just some strange lady did. And so he said he was going to go in the store to try to find his mom because this kid was really, really upset. And I stayed around 10, 15 minutes until we finally found the mom. I was trying to stay at least close enough to the kid to comfort him. And it was a good feeling, to give the kid some comfort because he was highly upset.
Wow. Did anybody call the police?
The security guard got to the point where he found the mom in the store somewhere. So, it was just he and I. It was like late at night too. It was like 11 o'clock at night or something. And it was just really scary.
What is wrong with her?
Knowing how scary he was.
Well, that's a bad situation, but you did good, Savina.
Well, I think about my husband in the position he got in, and all the things that can happen. And unfortunately, I run those scenarios in my mind. Like, I don't want someone thinking I'm doing something, and that's probably the wrong thing to think. But I do run those things through my mind.
Yeah.
You do, because that happens. People blame other people when they're trying to help.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so go ahead and pick somebody, Savina.
Oh, I pick you, Tamara.
Okay. I'll share another experience. I like the number one, I like old people. I try to help Monica every chance I get,
Thank you.
I'm just kidding. So, but like, old people, I don't know, I've got a soft spot for them. And I'm proud to say that I raised my daughters to be the same way, always look out for the little guy. I don't remember if I had put this in the GOGI. I probably didn't put it in the GOGI thing, but I'd been talking to my girls about GOGI, and of course, they like to make fun of it and stuff like that. But my daughter, one of the twins, Miranda, called me. It must have been about a month or 2 months ago, really excited, and told me that I would be proud of her because she thought she had done something GOGI, but she wasn't sure what part of GOGI she did. So she was driving, coming out of her subdivision, and saw an older gentleman, standing on the corner trying to wave down people. He was trying to wave people down, and nobody would stop. And so she pulled over, and of course, instantly I'm thinking, oh my God, Miranda, are you serious? Right? Because she's young, she's pretty, but she's like, no, Mom, you should have seen the look on his face. I knew there was something wrong. And so she pulled over and help, and he said he was lost. And he all he remembers is that he was playing golf on a certain golf course, and it didn't sound familiar to her. So she says, well, where do you live? And he couldn't remember. And so she's like, well, why don't you get in my car and I'll take you to the police station. So he got in the back seat, and she took him to the police station, and he had Alzheimer's. And in talking to the police, he thought he was playing golf 40 years ago at a golf course in a totally different state. And he had wandered off from his children's home. He went for a walk and had an episode. And so the police were able to help him find where he belonged and called his family. But she said he was in very nice clothing. Obviously, had been taken care of, but he just couldn't remember where he was. And he was afraid because nobody would stop. And so he thanked Miranda, and the police officers thanked her very much, and of course told her, please be very careful next time you do that. But she was it made her feel really good. And she's like, was that something from your GOGI, Mom? And I'm like almost crying. I'm like, yes, it was a lot of things from my GOGI. I'm so proud of you. So I'm like, okay, I raised a good kid. And then I said, please be very careful ever doing that again. But she just knew she couldn't not do something. So I was very proud of her in that. So that's my number one story. Love that shit. Okay. So does anybody want to want to make any other comments about any of the rest of these? Nope, we good? Okay.
We're good.
Let me just ask, we have a couple minutes. I want to ask one more question about something that I liked up here. Coach talked a couple times and made the comment about, right here, the crack, a crack in our personal prison wall. What does that mean to you? Where she says, we help a little, okay, so then she started talking about there being a crack and how where did she say that? She's like, we are
freed from those emotions. We see our value. Well, you just moved it.
Sorry.
Okay. Let me find it.
She said something about how we are kind of in charge or responsible for the cracks that we allow in our prison wall. And so at first when I read that, I was like, wait, and so is the crack a bad thing? And then I went down here and it was read that then we help a little more and another crack appears. Before
Right.
long, there is no more wall.
Right.
So what do you guys think about that?
I love it. That's my life story. That's my life story. I had all kinds of walls around me. I didn't let anybody in. I didn't let, I just lived in this personal whatever life that I was living. And, I didn't want to tell anybody what was happening to me. I didn't want, and once the cracks started coming down and I was free, it was wonderful.
That's awesome. So what do you what do you think you or me or what can we do this week to help create a crack in our personal prison? What are we willing to do this week that could create a little bit of a crack to bring that wall down a little?
Something that makes us uncomfortable.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And to back up what you just said, make something that makes us feel uncomfortable. I think that might tie into what I'm gonna say. Be of service to yourself. Sometimes we forget about us,
Right.
and I think that's uncomfortable. Like she just mentioned, Sabina just mentioned, it's uncomfortable for us to be of service to ourselves, and sometimes we're our own worst enemy, and we need to put the wall down of torment we put ourselves in.
Yeah.
So like I know that I have a tendency, I'm social, I'm pretty social when I go out, I'll talk to everybody and their dog. However, there are times when I go out of my place and if I'm feeling some type of way, I'm like, I don't want nobody looking at me. I'm not trying to smile at anybody. I got a tude like you would not believe. So I am going to, on purpose this week, go out with an attitude and force myself to make eye contact with somebody and say hello to them when I'm feeling my crappiest. That is going to be my test, to do that and give a little bit of a crack, because I need to challenge myself in that. It's so easy to say hi regularly, but when I'm having an attitude, oh, good Lord. So that's going to be my challenge. Who's got a challenge for themselves this week?
Are you going to wear makeup when you go out?
And what? What'd you say?
Are you going to wear makeup when you go out?
Oh, I never wear makeup. But you know what? I'm not even going to brush my hair so that I really feel like crap. And I'm honestly going to force myself to smile and say hello to somebody. And I know that will make me feel better.
It will.
It will change your attitude. That's the first thing that it'll do. It'll change your attitude.
It will. All right. So who's got something they can do to put a crack this week?
Well, I think it's not just making yourself uncomfortable, it's opening yourself up emotionally to be vulnerable about something. And
that's hard.
Yeah, well, it is, but you know what? That also brings you closer to someone. As long as it's your friend, you have to kind of know that you can be safe with that person. It's usually your family, your friends, and someone that you love.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to smile when I'm in a bad mood. I'm working on that one this week. You guys can work.
That is important. No, it is important. Sometimes when I feel really crappy, I like to just call someone else just to find out how they are. And sometimes, then it gets me out of my mood and I can start cracking jokes and being funny and it takes me out of my mood. Like, I'm going to try really hard tomorrow. I've elicited the help of my sister to help me clean my very cluttery room. Her old bedroom is full of a lot of things, but I need to put carpet in there, and in case my mother-in-law decides she's going to live with me. So I asked my sister to come help me, and she's one of those throwaway people. So he would like to throw everything away, and I'm the, oh my God. So it's going to be interesting.
I challenge you to make yourself vulnerable enough to let her throw stuff away.
I'm going to. I'm going to.
All right. Okay, we got 1 minute left. Anybody else? Anybody got any cracks they want to show?
I am
Alfred, you got a crack?
No? Well, we're all crack free. All right, that's good.
We're crack free.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
No crack. No crack here.
Yeah. None here.
Don't step on the crack, break your mother's back.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you
All
gonna,
right. Everybody's going to pull up their pants. Everybody's crack free. All right.
Yeah.
Meryl, are you gonna edit
No
this?
plumbers here. No plumbers here.
All right.
Meryl,
Good study. Yes?
you gonna edit this?
Yes,
That's
I am.
pretty.
Okay.
That's pretty, that picture.
That is.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
I love it.
Bluebird of happiness.
I like it when she gave me access to the ones that were in color, you know? Because
Yeah.
everything in the book is black and white, but I'm finding these amazing color pictures. I love that. Okay. So,
We don't need that page, you know, right?
I know, but it's like habit for me now, you know? It's habit. I know we don't need that page. Look it, I'm hiding it. Alfred, I know you know it by heart. Do you want to lead us in the GOGI pledge?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
All right. May our commitment
May our commitment
May our commitment
to the study of GOGI
The study
to the study of GOGI
grant us the joy
grant us the joy
of giving and receiving,
of giving and
receiving
so that our inner freedom
that are in
so that our
the
inner freedom
may be of maximum service
may be a
may be of
maximum
maximum
service
service
to those we love
those we
to
love
those we love
and infinite others.
and infinite
and
others.
infinite others. All right.
Amen.
We invite you to join us for our next meeting, which will be next Monday, where we will study the GOGI tool. Drum roll, please. Which one will it be?
Boss of my brain.
Boss of my brain. Okay. Don't forget, no meeting on Wednesday. Probably we're going to go back to just Monday meetings for a while until things calm down at work, because I'm totally overloaded. But Thursday, we've got Coach for our town hall, who's going to quickly go over the tool and then talk to us a little bit about facilitating and what we're going to do in the community. So that's Thursday at 8.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So let's do 1, 2, 3, GOGI. Ready? GOGI for life. 1, 2, 3, GOGI for life.
For life.
All right. Awesome. See you guys on the group. Thank you.